Welcome to the first introductory video of Track 3 of the Edge. We're calling this the Floor Trader's Edge. What in fact was the edge that floor traders for almost 200 years used and what they had? And I think it's important to look at this because the same two advantages exist in the electronic environment, only we have to look for it in different places. So it was about watching brokers for orders that those brokers were working, and that was the order flow prong of this two-prong approach. And then secondly, they were watching boards for correlating markets, and that's the market relationships prong of this two-prong approach. So I'm actually going to walk through and show you a bird's eye view of a pit that used to be where all the volume in these markets traded through, called open outcry. And I'm going to show you some of the players that existed by illustrating where they were and kind of the flow of how trades got transacted. First of all, there were arb clerks. Arb clerks were on the perimeter of the pit, generally in these gold coats. They would signal where the market was to desk brokers. Now, the desk brokers were behind these desks on the outer perimeter, and they would be on the phone with a off-the-floor customer, giving quotes as to where this market was and putting in orders. So, for instance, this arb clerk probably worked for this floor broker. He'd tell him an order, he'd yell it into the pit, and inside the pit was locals or independent traders. You know, individuals like many of you guys are, having your own account trading these markets. That's what these guys had to do, physically go to a floor. So the flow of an order would come in through the phone. They signal it to an arb clerk right in here. He'd tell his broker, and the broker would yell that particular order in this open outcry environment to these traders. Now, what was the edge, this order flow edge? Let me walk you through this particular order. Say this order was a Goldman Sachs order. Certain brokers filled for certain institutions. So when this particular order was bidding, let's say 3 for 2,000 contracts, it was safe to assume that was a Goldman Sachs order. And 2,000 contracts was big size. So if he's bidding over here for 2,000 contracts and a broker over here is bidding for another 1,000 and a guy over here is bidding for another couple thousand, it's safe to assume that there's buyers at that price. That was invaluable information for anyone who trades to know where the market might go to and stop, where there were buyers that were coming in, right? And when someone's bidding, they're buying. So that's order flow and how it was viewed and watched in an electronic environment. Now I'm going to show you an image of a floor trader that would watch the boards. And he'd do this because ancillary or correlating markets influenced the market he was trading. And that's the market relationship prong of this two-prong approach that we convey throughout the edge. So let's say the relationship between stocks and bonds are opposite. When bonds go up, stocks go down. Let's also say that this price up in here, just for example's sake, reflects the price of a 30-year bond. And this guy's a stock index trader right in here. When he sees that that price goes up, he might want to sell the S&P E-minis or another stock index because of that opposite relationship, right? When you go short, you think the market's going down because the bonds went up, right? A cause and effect. If the bonds go down, you might want to go long because you think that stock index is going to go up based on that relationship. So that's an inverted correlation between stocks and bonds. There's also positive correlations between stock indexes like the S&P E-minis, the NASDAQ futures, the Dow futures, the Russell futures, European futures, and we have a correlation matrix to understand where the complexes are, including even individual stocks that you guys will trade, that many trade, as well as options, futures, Forex. There's all different markets, and no matter what market you trade, you need to watch other markets that relate to it. So finally, to this image of how you translate this information in this day and age of electronic trading. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel. This is a typical image of a price ladder or depth of market, okay? Instead of looking at a board, you need to look at multiple price ladders and charts for these market relationships and order flow. We'll discuss in later videos the bids and offers and where they appear on this price ladder, but how side by side you could keep track of where correlated markets are. So if you're not doing what for over 2 centuries floor traders did in this electronic environment, then you're not doing what was unique to their edge. So you constantly got to say, what can I do differently than what most of the retail audience that I trade against do, and what is their skill set? And that's taking this consumer skill that you guys walk through in track 1 and 2 and now starting to apply it in this real-time electronic trading environment.